Toshi here, welcome back to another video. You just got done watching the 1.5 live stream. We made a video previously on Huo Huo and how I mentioned her being the strongest character to release in a while and that she will absolutely break the hypercarry compositions if she did what we thought she did. And well, I looked at the live stream and I confirmed for what I already knew, and she did everything I said she was going to do. She's going to break hypercarry. Let me explain to you why. So let's take a character like Natasha, for instance. Natasha is an abundance 4-star character, right? You get this character for free in the beginning of the game. Now let's look at her ultimate. Her ultimate cost is 90, but this heals all of the allies on the field. You're going to be looking to use the ultimate for Natasha to heal your allies because you never want to use a skill point from the character. Now the thing is, the abundance path is home to some of the best icons in the game because for every single 4-star option, you're going to get so much value for that for your abundance character. Now, one of those being one of the icons you can get from the gacha, which increase your outgoing healing. Whenever you use a skill, then you give 4 energy to all of your allies in max refinements. Without max refinements, you give 2 energy to all of the allies, so it's refinement 1. But this becomes one of the best icons for your abundance characters, especially Huo Huo, who heals on her elemental skill. Now, there is some other icons, like for instance, post-op conversation, which you probably use on every other abundance character because it increases their energy regeneration rate, depending on the level of your icon, of course, and then increases their outgoing healing whenever they use their ultimate, which is very good for characters like Bailu and Natasha that need the energy regeneration rate and just heals with their ultimates so that they can save on using the skills to give more skill points to the team. And then there's other strong options like Quid Pro Quo, which gives even more energy to allies that have under 50% energy at that given point. So this specifically for characters that you end up using the ultimate quite often on, this is going to be very valuable for said character. Now it is random and it only applies to one ally, but the fact of the matter is that you give energy for free without having to use your ultimate or elemental skill, whereas the other Lycone only gives energy whenever you use your skill on the character. So I mention this because there is a bunch of damage dealers in the game that need energy really badly. There's only one character in the game that can provide energy right now. If your character is very ult intensive and you need to use your ult as often as you can in order to, for instance, characters like Daniel or Baby Lanai needs his ultimate so that he can get skill points before his actual turn to save on skill points, then characters like Ting Yun enable him to play that playstyle, or characters like Seal who already gets energy from killing enemies multiple times, getting additional turns. Therefore, Ting Yun gives energy that she needs in order to get her ult much more consistently and kill enemies even quicker. So Ting Yun is the only character that enables that hypercarry playstyle for damage dealers that really need to get their ultimate often. Now here's where things get a little crazy. You have your hypercarry damage dealer, you have your Ting Yun and your Brona. This is the standard strongest hypercarry team comp in the game right now. Not the best team comp for Seal, but it is the best hypercarry team comp that is in the game currently. Whoa, the last slot, we always needed an abundance character that was going to give buffs to the team, whether that was going to be buffs in the sense of attack to give more damage to the hypercarry or provide value to the team in some way, shape, or form, whether that is making sure the character doesn't burn any skill points away from the damage dealer. Well, Huo Huo is giving energy, so that much needed energy will go towards Ting Yun, and then Ting Yun energy will go towards Seal, and then Huo Huo's energy will also go towards Brona, which Brona's ult is going to go towards Seal. So you see, this ends up being a team with Huo Huo that is funneling each other. It becomes one of the strong, if not the strongest team in the game with the release of Huo Huo. I cannot express to you enough how broken that is for characters like Ting Yun, who already gets a lot of energy fast with, certain Lycones, for instance, the 3-star Lycone that gives energy whenever she attacks or is attacked by the enemy, and then other Lycones, for instance, and other ways of getting energy like the energy regeneration rate, so then you have so many ways of getting energy on the character already. So being able to give more energy to one of the strongest batteries in the game means that this battery becomes even better. It's like pretty much supercharging a battery, for instance. So Luocha essentially does not need to be in the same team anymore with Denheng Baby Tsunai because you're going to have another option for giving him more energy. So let me explain to you what this means essentially. Denheng Baby Tsunai already uses skill points. Well, Luocha generates skill points by not using anything to heal his allies, right? You all know how he works. But Huo Huo gives energy, right? But she uses a skill point to heal the allies. So it's almost as if the skill points she used doesn't matter in the first place because the energy goes toward Denheng Baby Tsunai and he's going to have his ult, which means he saves on using skill points. So the skill points that Luocha generates doesn't matter in this scenario because Huo Huo gives energy to him. So you may be able to make some very nasty, zero cycle comps with, the release of Huo Huo because you'll have so much energy going towards the whole team to where you probably don't even need to have anything else in said team composition. Then you could put two other. I keep thinking Huo Huo is a harmony character because she applies energy to the whole team. She's not a harmony character, but the fact that she does that is just insane. So you can have a better composition for Deng Heng Bibitsu Nai or any other damage dealer. In this case, I'm using him because he's who I have on the account. And I use Yukong and Ting Yun already. Now I can get Huo Huo. Yukong is very, very strong at Eidolon 6. If you have this character at Eidolon 6, not only does she give more crit rate, crit damage to that ally, but the attack increase she provides is also extremely strong. And then Planetary Rendezvous means even more damage for Daniel. So now we have a supercharged composition for Den Hengabibitsu Nai. It is absolutely insane how strong Huo Huo is going to be because she also gives an attack buff alongside the energy. Now, there is also some interesting comps you can play around with. You can have a half mono quantum, half mono wind team, right? With the release of Huo Huo, you have 2 wind characters and 2 quantum characters. So if that enemy already has wind weakness, then you're going to ensure that you land that quantum weakness on enemy with Silver Wolf. So having Huo Huo in the team makes this team a lot more viable. But last but not least, let's talk about what this means for a character like Brona and essentially how she gets better with the release of Huo Huo. So Brona has one of the strongest ults in the game. She gives an attack crit damage increase to the whole team, which is a massive amount because half of it is partial to Brona's own crit damage. And her ult costs 120 energy, which for a character now, that's pretty darn high. You're going to take a couple turns to get that ultimate if you don't have some of the things that increases your ways of getting energy in the game. Maybe you have energy regeneration rate in the form of a light cone, and then maybe you have an energy regeneration link rope on your Brona as well. But with all of those things, it still takes a while to get the ult for this character because she doesn't really get that much energy in any other way. However, the interaction with a light cone like this, but the battle isn't over, you essentially give a skill point to the team whenever you use your ultimate after 2 times. So that means since Huo Huo is giving more energy to the team, you're going to get Brona's ult much more faster, and then you'll be generating the skill point portion of this passive to the team much more often because you're going to be using your ultimate more often as well. So she essentially makes Brona a much better character. She's going to be best in slot with Brona when it comes to abundance characters because there's no other character you really should be using with Brona if Huo Huo exists. So what does that mean in relation to other defensive options like Fu Xuan? Fu Xuan is an amazing character, right? She makes the mono quantum composition an actual comp because she is a defensive option that brings that composition together. So I don't see her replacing Fu Xuan in that team, but I believe that she will be a very nice substitute for Fu Xuan if you do not have a defensive option currently, or you want to play around with stronger hypercarry teams, that is. But for the rest of the Abundance cast, that means she's going to be better than these characters in most, if not all, scenarios. Now, Luocha is a character that has immense value, but he does not do anything other than give a skill point to the team and just heal. That's pretty much it. He does so much healing, so much unneeded healing. But if he was able to substitute some of that healing for maybe some, utility going towards the allies in the form of maybe attack buff or energy, he would be a much better character. But he doesn't do that unless you have Eidolons for the character. So therefore, Huo Huo seems much more valuable than Yulocha. It's crazy I'm saying that. And then Bailu is a character that's really good. I mean, she has a lot of value because she has Invigoration and she has a Revive in her kit, which means she can make it to where your allies, once they die, she can bring them back from the dead. And she helps with being, invigorated. So that means your allies take less damage whenever they're hit by the enemy, and they heal whenever they take said damage. So she's a really good character, but she doesn't have a cleanse. So therefore, Huo Huo is a much better character. Then Natasha is just essentially Natasha. I mean, she was power crept by Lynx, so therefore Natasha isn't really as... There's no need to even compare Natasha to Huo Huo, because Huo Huo does everything Natasha does like 3 times over. And then Lynx is a character that is extremely strong as well. She's a very solid 4-star character, but compared to Huo Huo, she doesn't give any energy or attack. So therefore, Huo Huo is a much better character. So there you have it. I know what you might be thinking. Well, Toshi, the energy she gives is not going to be as good as you might think it is. The reason why I'm thinking is going to be amazing is because she gives energy to the whole team. That's 3 allies she's giving energy to, not just one character like Ting Yun. So therefore, she may just be a overplacer of Ting Yun to where you can put another character in the slot of her. Because I'm pretty sure she gets energy much more quicker than Ting Yun because, well, the abundance light codes in the game are extremely strong. And she also gives energy off her turn if you have that 4-star light cone that gives energy after using the elemental skill. So she has very strong, solid 4-star options in the game currently. And the fact of the matter is, she gives an attack buff on top of all of that. So then she becomes the best character to use in hyper carry team compositions as the defensive option. I cannot wait for the release of Huo Huo. She's going to absolutely break the game. And for team comps where you need a ton of energy, she's going to become your best friend. That's the video here. Thank you for watching and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.